We have my brother, Mr. Garrett Gunderson. And in this episode, Garrett breaks down all the different money personas in detail. And he also talks about how you can win them play. We're going to be diving in. Do you want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Kerry Jack, and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco-warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact. It is time to happy hustle your dream reality. Yee-yee! All right, my brother, Mr. Garrett Gunderson, welcome back to the Happy Hustle Podcast, man.
Hey, do you think that, why do I look so much tanner than you, bro? Like, you look way younger than me, which is bullshit, but like, I definitely look tanner than you right now, man. And you wearing that Happy Hustle flannel just reminds me of us going downtown Bozeman just not long ago with our flannels, putting on a show, dude. We brought joy to some old people's lives. We brought joy to some ladies that just like, they might have been past their prime 30 years ago, but they were living it up, dude.
It's so true, man. Good times. And for those of you who don't know, Garrett's referencing the Montana Mastermind Epic Camping Adventure, and him and I just broed out in the backcountry Montana wilderness with 15 other high-performing entrepreneurs, and we did make an appearance downtown Bozeman in our matching flannels. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. Garrett has one. I was hoping you would wear it today, bro, but you didn't. But
it's at the cabin, dude. You want me to drive up to my cabin for this? You know what I'm saying? It's at my cabin.
I know
where it belongs.
I know that is true. That is true. But regardless, man, I'm super stoked to have you on the mic.
What you call home, I call a cabin because I live in Utah, which is right as Montana. You know what I'm saying?
I do hear you. I do hear you. Well, guys, this episode is going to be riddled with inside jokes, as you can tell, but good ones at that, because Garrett is a New York Times and Wall Street Journal bestselling author, serial entrepreneur, and he is a damn happy hustler. And he has a new book out called Money Unmasked. I got the pre-released advanced reader's copy here. Thank you for sending it, by the way. And I'm excited to dive into this, man, because you actually talk about how you can unlearn, unlock, and take back control of your finances and life. Yep. And, you know, you have a counterintuitive approach to making money, keeping money, and growing your money that I've really bought into, and a lot of the happy hustlers that I know I've recommended to you, because the proof is in the pudding. Like, what you're putting out there and how you do it, it works. So I'm excited to dive into all that good stuff, Garrett. Before we do, what's something interesting about yourself that not too many people know?
So first off, like before we do, we have to say the Montana Mastermind. Kerry decided to do the most complicated mastermind on him, not us, on him possible. He's like, cool, let's take people up in the mountains. Let's hike 6 or 7 miles uphill with backpacks. Let's have to get horses up there so that we can be fed. We now have to prepare meals out in the wilderness where there's no one around. And thank God, no grizzlies, but we had to look for that and carry on bear spray. I've never been more afraid to take a shit, but I did anyway with my bear spray in hand. I don't know why I was so afraid of it. Probably because your brother's trying to tell us the worst stories of all time around bears, and it was pretty awesome, man. I'm like, oh, I've got a book coming out. Should I really be going to this whole thing? And you know, I don't know. Like, everyone probably talks themselves out of it because it's like, what, we have to hike? You mean there's no spa? You mean that we have to like build a fire? Oh, we have to get bit by bugs? Like, you thought of the hardest way to ever make money and did it. And so I really appreciate that about you, because it benefited my life for sure. And like, it's just funny because we're just sitting around the fire talking, and I was like, hey, how early do I get to be a dick? And I was pretty early. And the other thing, and then they're always like, hey, why don't you do some stand-up comedy? I'm like, there's nothing more abrasive and intrusive than everybody hanging around the fire and then some guy being like, let me tell you some jokes, and you guys just be quiet and listen to me. So all I did instead was just make fun of everyone the whole time as a true loving person that I am, you know?
So that counts as an interesting fact. And for the record, Garrett was dropping like sage wisdom throughout all the campfire masterminds and on the hikes. And you keep it real, dude. That's why I really love you, man. And you're like, you even some of the entrepreneurs who were like, there was some entrepreneurs who are even much older than you and I, and you would just like call them out on their BS and just like keep it 100. And it's like it's rare to find that type of authenticity. So I do commend you for it. And yeah, man, I'm glad to hear you had a blast. I had a blast, hosting it. And yes, there definitely is easier ways to make money, but that's not why I do it. It really is about like getting that container that can't be created in a boardroom.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are like, I don't do this for the money at all. I do it for the private jet is what they're really saying behind that. But you're not making private jet money from this Montana mastermind. So you literally are doing it out of passion. And because what I find is most people that say they're not doing it for the money, you know what the truth is? They're doing it for the money. Like that's why they bring it up. But you literally are not doing it for the money. So I want to acknowledge you and also kick you in the nuts at the same time for that, dude. Like,
Well, let me speak to it. I do like the money is a bonus because we do make money from them, right? Don't get me, don't take me the wrong way. Like money is a factor, but since the limited, like we can only have 15 guys. Yeah, we only can have 15 guys. So there's no scale to it. And that's what creates that intimacy because of national forest regulations. So it's like, it's more about getting the right group together and then what comes from it, like the Happy Hustle Club and like consistent, amazing brotherhood and the relationships. Like money does flow from those things. As you know, you've already made some pretty cool context, I think, from it. And, and so have I. It's just that I would do it for free. Truly, don't tell anybody. But like go camping in the woods. Like you and I do that anyway. So that's kind of where it is.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was a lot more fun than I expected. It was really, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I got to spend some time with you. We were hiking up, hiking down. You guys like made it sound like I wasn't going to be able to make. I barely broke a sweat on the hike, dude. You were impressed with my ability. You know what I'm saying? But
I was.
It's all good.
I was very. I know it was amazing. I mean, I like people to be over prepared than under prepared. That's why I hype up the hike even more. But it does kick some people's ass. So anyway, speaking of kicking ass, let's kick ass with our finances. You like that? You like that segue? So let's get into it, man. Give me the genesis behind this book. Why did you even write it?
Dude, I wrote every word in that book, which I did not write every word in my early books because I was afraid to write. Like, what if it wasn't good enough? What if it didn't sound right? What if I didn't say things in the best way? I had like a lot of fear, and so I had co-authors and ghostwriters. But this is a piece of who I am. It's an expression of it, and I know that money is something that people are confused about, and the relationship to themselves is actually the same as a relationship to their money. So what they avoid, what they earn, what they rush, what they try to collect is something that is usually within them that they haven't resolved. And so I felt like we need to bring a conversation that was uplifting around a topic that's normally boring, demonstrative, destructive, and garbage. And so like unmasked means like understanding who we are. And ultimately in the end, what we're really looking for is love. But unfortunately, money's been the blinder and had us confused thinking that's what love is. If I have enough money, then I'm valuable. If my net worth's big enough, then I'm going to be better off. Or, you know what? A lot of people list money as the number one reason for divorce. It's not really money. It's that they stop dreaming because money becomes a limiting factor. And so I wanted to show people in a very practical way how they could profit from their ideas up front before ever having to invest or borrow. I wanted to show them how they could plug financial leaks rather than scrimp and save and budget. I wanted to show them what their money persona was so they could opt into a much bigger vision and better game than being limited by the money. And I wanted them to get to the place where they understood who they really were and what they were capable of. So it comes with a lot of emotion, passion, and I went nuts for a while and wrote too many words, and then I cut it back. It took me 7 damn years to get to the point of putting this book out, but I'm going to give it 70 years if that's what it takes to get this message to the world, because I think it's an important one. Yeah, that's the deal.
Dude, I love it. And you really can tell, like, I've read your other books. You had Killing Sacred Cows, which was a New York Times, Wall Street Journal bestseller. And, that book was phenomenal. It really, I think, broke a lot of barriers in the financial game. Like a lot of people thought one thing and then that just show them a different way to think and act. And I feel similarly about this book, where it's like you really break it down in a way that everyone can resonate with one of the different personas, right? Like, and technically there's like the shadow personas and then the winning personas, and you help
Yep.
really, and there's four winning personas and there's four shadow personas, right? Like it's very simply laid
Right.
out. Talk to us about those personas. Let's kind of go through them, and for all the happy hustlers out
Yep.
there, like in enough detail so that they can be like, oh, that's me, and so we can give them some like tactical like steps for each, maybe on the back end. But let's first hit the personas just so people can understand.
Yeah, and I remember early on in my financial career, I started in June of 1998. And I always wanted like money personality quizzes, or I always wanted like, and I could never find something other than this thing that was really basic, saying there's savers, there's spenders, there's avoiders, there's givers, there's the masters. And I was like, that's a little bit simplistic and not informative enough. So this took me a long time to kind of uncover and figure out. But the four shadow personas, it begins with the miser. And by the way, nobody likes to be called a miser, but this is my family. I mean, they came over from Italy and they pinched pennies, and their ass is so tight they could shit a diamond. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, they are misers, and they play the game called preservation. In the game of preservation, they end up with funds that they're never going to spend because they're addicted to holding on to what they got. They'll spend 10 hours to save $10 because they get a better deal. They'll know where the cheapest gas is at all times. They'll, order water even if they don't want to drink water because it just is less money. They'll double coupon clip and go without and eat stuff even after it's expired. Like, that's the miser. The miser's all about, how do I eliminate, cut back, reduce, scrimp, save, sacrifice, delay, defer. And I lived the majority of my life as a miser. And
Same.
thank God my wife was like, dude, my family's favorite pastime, Carrie, is making fun of Garrett the miser, because my kids didn't ever know that miser, but my wife did. Like, our first Christmas, you know what my gift was to her? A 99-cent clearance bin phone case that didn't fit her cell phone.
Wow.
But I was like, no, if you
Killing
just
it.
rig it this way. And she's like, this is what you got me? Or when her dad was like, you could live in our basement rent free when we first got married. I told my wife that. She's like, we could live there sex free if that's where you think I'm living. Like, I was a miser, dude. It was all about elimination. And I was obsessed with eliminating money to the point where I wasn't present, I wasn't creative, I wasn't a good value creator, because it was all about what I could lose, not what I could create. And one of the things, if you're a miser, is realize no one shrinks their way to wealth.
True.
No one shrinks their way to wealth. Wealth is a game of value creation, expansion, serving, solving problems, and delivering value. So on the other hand, so a miser usually is isolated and selfish. But if we go to the winning persona, the opposite of the miser is the mindful manager. The mindful manager is detail oriented. They're efficient. They're great at improving things. They're good at like reducing waste and enhancing ideas. But that's about collaboration. That's about co-creation. That's about abundance. And that's the difference. People are in their shadow persona when they're selfish. They might not see themselves as selfish. They might just see themselves as surviving, but that survival prevents them from thriving. So there's the miser or the mindful manager. That's the shadow and winning side of one of the four personas. I'll pause and let you give your feedback and tell me about your miserly days.
Yeah, dude. Like, well, that one hits home, and I hope everyone out there can like think about this and be honest with themselves. But dude, I even still catch myself where it's like, I don't really need an appetizer tonight at dinner. It's like it's not. I'll be fine with just a bit. It's like it's so deeply ingrained in us. Even when you have money, sometimes you have to like beat it out of you. And I totally resonate, and I love how you break it down, because you again just put it in such a simplistic way. So we got the miser, and then we got the mindful manager.
And by the way, like the miser and mindful manager, like just realize when you bump up against drama, trauma, or difficulty, it's likely to rear its head.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was doing the comedy special, there was a bunch of bills that I didn't realize when I went to Costa Rica, didn't get paid, and I came back and I was like, they were six figures of bills. I was like, oh damn. So immediately that day, I was like, hey, why do we have the air conditioner up so high? Who only drank half of this drink? Like the miser just came out for 12 hours, right? Which was like, we've got to cut back and save, which isn't really going to make a big difference. But
Yeah.
it was just this ingrained thing. But then now the key is I have awareness. And I'm like, oh, wait, I'm being a miser because I feel threatened for my survival. Let me get clear about how I can create value, serve others, solve problems, and move forward and be a better steward over my gifts rather than hoarding and being afraid. So we might not be impervious to this. It's just once we have an awareness, we can make new choices.
Yep. Love that. Let's hit the second one.
Yeah. Second one is not a political affiliation, but it was the best way to describe it as a conservative. A conservative plays the game called accumulation. Sometimes even might call it retirement. And they end up with funds that they can't spend because they're afraid they're never going to have enough. So they're hesitant. They're overly analytical. I think of a lot like a Midwestern person that wants to tell you they know better for your life than you do, like a professor, right? Like, now, Carrie, what you've got to do is start putting that money in the retirement plan when you're young. And you know what? You're going to have a child. You need to start that education fund yesterday, and it's too late. So you just got to delay gratification. You got to defer happiness because one day, someday, you're finally going to live that retirement dream when you're way too old to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's unfortunately kind of how they go about living life, is in a very judgmental state and concern for others, not because they're pricks, just because it's the mantra of that kind of framework. So that's the shadow side.
Yeah, and I'm sure everyone
Now,
can think of somebody in that sense too.
yes, I could think of people like Dave Ramsey is like the father of conservatism,
True.
right? Like,
True.
how could you be so stupid to get a mortgage? How could you be so stupid to ever put $1 on a credit card, you idiot? Like, it's really judgmental at all times. So,
Yeah.
on the flip side, though, on the winning persona is the planner. The planner's stable. They're thoughtful. They're a strategic person. They're instrumental for organizations that want to plan for contingencies or monitor the effectiveness and efficiency of any initiative. So what they're thinking about is how and when something happens. Like almost every billionaire has an amazing planner and mindful manager that helps them execute. And without that execution, they're merely a dreamer that's lost and they might as well have dementia when you hear them talk, because none of it seems like reality. But you don't have as many famous mindful managers and planners because often they're engineers orchestrating something behind the scenes, or they're CFOs bringing all the finances together. But they're so critical that without them, almost nothing gets done. So now we've got the miser or the conservative, and on the flip side, we've got the mindful manager or the planner. Now, what you got to realize is in scarcity, the miser and the conservative play not to lose. They play not to lose. They just like want to hold on to what they've got. They want to set as much aside as they can. Like it's always about what do they stand to lose. If we flip to these other personas, they're more play to win. Play to win is always focused on the future, never enjoying the present. And like entrepreneurs almost brag about play to win. I hear people say, I'm playing to win. But the problem is it's playing to eventually win, not enjoying the process along the way. Not enjoying life now, because it's all when they accomplish something. But guess what? They accomplish it and then they go, now what? It's never what they thought it was going to be. And they're always on that treadmill of life.
Oh, dude, you're preaching to the choir. That's like literally what the happy hustle is all about, as you know, like putting the happy in your everyday hustle, both personally and professionally. So, like,
play to win is hustle without the happy. That's play to win. Hustle without the happy. But like when you've designed a game worth playing, when you put value first and money is no longer the primary reason or excuse you would do or not do something, like Montana Masterminds for you, you win. You enjoy the process along the way. So the striver is the first person playing to win. They're impatient, busy malcontent. They play a game called status, and they think they could just work harder to make more money, but they inevitably burn out. That's the striver. Now, on the flip side, someone coming from value creation and a winning game and serving others and solving problems is the creator. The creator is an entrepreneur, an artist, an inventor. They lead with innovation and ingenuity and pave pathways for more people to add value together. So, now if we go to the last money persona, it's the high roller. The high roller is the shadow persona. They play a game called Opportunity. They're kind of, they can seem narcissistic, maybe like a one-upper or a name dropper. They could be a ton of fun, but at the same time, they can be really dangerous because they cut corners and take unnecessary risks that leads to short-lived riches. On the flip side, though, is the catalyst. You're a catalyst in my life, bro. You're such a catalyst. Catalysts, they think big. They're movers and shakers, and they're connectors. You're always connecting me to people, right? So they think and play big and show us ways we can win together. If you have catalysts in your life, life gets better. When Kerry finds out I have a book, he's like, you're coming on the Happy Hustle. When he's got the Montana Mastermind, he's like, I'd love to have you there, right? When he sees somebody, he's like, this guy's in finance. I think you could benefit him. I'm going to connect the two of you. That's a catalyst. And if you have a catalyst in your life, life gets better because they can position you properly. They can introduce you in a way you can't introduce yourself. And ultimately, though, if a catalyst is stuck in the high roller land, then high rollers can be braggadocious. They show a car that they don't even own. These are the dickheads putting something on TikTok or whatever, Instagram, like, look at this house that I rented that is not even mine. Look at this private jet that I didn't even fly on. Those dicks, that's the high roller.
Yeah. Yeah. The gurus, the fake gurus out there, it's just like, I think we all know about them. And fortunately, I feel like people's BS meters are higher than ever. So they can like smell the snake in the grass or like seek it out. But yeah, man, these are so powerful. And thank you for the kind words with Catalyst. I don't even like, that's not even, it's something that's just almost intuitive. I feel like it's just naturally, I always try to find the win-win synergies. It's not like, oh, I hope something great happens for them and then it comes back to me. It's like, if you make introductions or connect people or try to be a catalyst with that perception, it's never as effective as just like selflessly serving, and I know we talked about that in the mastermind.
I'm not a selfless, I'm a selfish son of a bitch.
That's a whole other topic, even
I
though
want
you're
you to
not.
buy my book. I don't just want to give it to you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is amazing. I do want to recap them. Okay, so we talked about the 4 shadow personas, and then we talked about the 4 winning personas. So like everybody out there right now, and I guess before we recap them, is it possible to be more than one?
All 4. I've been all 4 in my life, bro.
Okay.
Like, let me tell you that. Like, when I was the miser, I'm on my honeymoon, right? And I take my favorite person in the world, my wife, Carrie, on this cruise, except for the miser me doesn't want to spend any money. So she's like, hey, babe, I want to buy this bag. I'm like, why do you need a bag? They gave you a perfectly good plastic bag when we got on the cruise. Now, my wife is pretty damn smart, so she made sure she was photographed with that plastic bag in every single picture on our honeymoon, dude. Or later on, when I got a little bit more knowledge about finance, I became the conservative. But I ruined date night. We would go on a date, and she'd be like, oh, I'm going to order this glass of wine. I'm like, oh, have you never heard of the Massachusetts Investor Trust Fund? The first ever mutual fund created. If we invested $1 at its inception over 100 years ago, it'd be worth $1,207.33. So yeah, like, she didn't order the wine and dinner was over, and so was date night, right?
Yeah.
Or I've spent most of my time as a striver, trying to build an Inc. 500 company, working and flying everywhere and trying to validate that I was successful and valuable and important at the expense of my family, to the point where when my wife had when we had our first son, I left the hospital early, even when he was hooked up to wires and machines, because I went back to work. My wife didn't even hold him while I was gone because she was stuck in recovery and scared.
Wow.
See, as a striver, I put work over my family. I abandoned them.
Yeah.
Just because they didn't fit my striver schedule.
Wow.
That's the shitty thing about these shadow personas. And you and I, my high roller day a little bit. Maybe I told you about it. Like,
yeah,
I'm not a car guy. But my partners are like, you got to get a nice car to attract high-end clients. So I bought a Bentley, and I took a picture of my Bentley at the Salt Flats in all black, put it on social media, and someone's like, look at this pretentious douche. And fair enough, I was a pretentious douche, because I once didn't get it parked up front at a hotel, and I looked at my wife, I'm like, what's wrong with them? She's like, what's wrong with you douchebag? So yeah, that was my high roller day. And dude, more embarrassing, they put this on the cover of a magazine with me and my Bentley. And I said in the article in 2008, I said, I've had so much success. It's just about paying it forward and giving back. I have more money than I could spend. And within 2 months, $8 million of my net worth was flushed down the real estate toilet to be like, hey, dickhead, you can't say stupid things like this.
Yeah.
We'll just beat you to death as the universe. So anyway,
Yeah.
those are my, I've played different roles based on situational moments of our life, right? But usually drama or trauma will push us back to our original one.
Yeah. Oh man, I can so resonate with like a little bit of all of them. And you know, the the one that like really resonates for you out there listening, it's important to think about the antithesis, right? The opposite, the winning persona. So you have the miser or the mindful manager. You have the conservative or the planner. You have the striver or the creator. And then you have the high roller or the catalyst. And I do want to stay here for a beat. When you talk about win, then play, right? This is like so in line with the happy hustle. And that's why you and I, I mean, obviously we hit it off for multiple reasons, but just in terms of our business alignment,
Because nobody says more ridiculous shit to you than I do.
That's true. That's definitely one of the reasons. Oh man. Well, like guys, we're gonna get there, I'm sure, but some stuff that I said to Garrett, like it slips and then he'll hold you to it. It's like he'll take it and it's just
It's a trap. I can't ever let it leave my head. My college roommate just went to Burning Man with me, and I'm still teasing him about stuff that happened when he was 18 years old. But the best part is my 18-year-old hearing the stories as, yes, I took my 18-year-old to Burning Man. And by the way, could I just say, that was a ridiculous experience when they're like, the gates are closed. Do they close gates in the desert? There's no such thing as gates in an open desert.
I know.
And so I just left. And they're like, you can't leave. The cops will ticket you. I'm like, what cops? What? I'm getting ticketed for leaving in the rain? I'm like, I'm a redneck from Price, Utah. I could mud bog my way out in seconds. And I did. Yeah, so,
that's awesome.
Just a side note. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Well, let's talk about just that win then play mentality, looping us in, because I think this is such a big, a big important factor.
Yeah,
this one's going off the rails, ain't it? I mean,
all right, we'll get to the win then play, dude. Like, look, if you design a game worth playing, if you create a life you don't want to retire from, if you enjoy the process and life along the way, you've already won. So in the happy hustle terms, the win is in the work, not just the outcome.
Yep.
If you want to have a miserable life, have your life be predicated upon outcomes that are always in the future. What it means is you don't enjoy the process. I remember I was filming my comedy special, and I went to Wise Guys, and I had a 20-minute set. And I did some new material, and it went really well, and it was a ton of fun. And we went out to the bar afterwards and hung out, and I was like, this was a win. It wasn't, oh, this will be great for my special in a couple of months. It was like, no, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm loving every day. I would go for a walk and work on my comedy, sometimes with my dog and just, repeat it like a strange man by himself, sometimes with my wife, with my buddy Aaron, with my sister Trisha, with my assistant Amanda, with my buddy Dave. Like, I was just every day enjoying the process because it was a game worth winning. I love comedy. It feels like connection and family. I love the laughter because all of a sudden we build a relationship so fast with a spontaneous moment. We're not worried about the past or concerned about the future. We're just there in the moment. And the work of writing it and reciting it and practicing it and refining it and booking the stage and inviting the friends, every part was a win because it was a game worth winning. It wasn't just the moment that night. And that's the problem, is people want some stupid award that if they get that award, it will validate who they are, and they sacrifice everything to get there. Know your win before you begin, and you've already won. Create the game you want to play, and you've already won. You got to be clear about the game you want to play. That's the entire message of this book. That's the entire message I have for life. And anytime I get miserable and frustrated, it's because I forgot my win and I let someone else, like society or well-intentioned preachers, teachers, family, or friends, determine it for me. And I'm chasing some trophy because of some internal hole or lack of acceptance in myself. And if we just love ourselves enough and give freely love to other people, then all of a sudden life gets immensely better. And why are you trying to retire from that?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Apologies for interrupting your programming. But I have to tell you, the best investment you can make in yourself is one in which helps you acquire skills. You've probably heard people talk about, oh, just invest in yourself and you'll be successful. Yes, that's true to a degree, but you have to invest in skills that will ultimately help you achieve your desired results. And I think one of the best skills one can possess, be it an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, is the sales sword. Really knowing how to sell, utilizing pressure free persuasion, which will make you more money and more impact. Now, if you want to know how to sell more efficiently and effectively, I just launched a sales course called The Proven Roadmap Process to Selling Millions of Dollars and helping you to increase your conversions guaranteed. And you can get access to this new sales course that The Happy Hustle is launching at thehappyhustle.com/sales. And if you act fast, you'll get it at the lowest price it'll ever be available, because we are launching it and we want to gain amazing testimonials and social proof to further share this knowledge. So if you act fast, you can get it at the lowest price it'll ever be. That's at thehappyhustle.com/sales. Now let's get back to this episode.
And look, I get it. There's coal miners out there like my dad. I get it. There's people that are out there doing shitty jobs. So you got to stop trading time for labor, and you've got to invest in yourself, because we've got other things and other people and other technology that will take care of the stuff nobody else wants to do. What we really want is to connect with other human beings and to be artistic or expressive or connected. But we're too busy doing stupid shit we hate to do every single day because we're trying to provide for our family, because we got stupid student loans holding us back, or we're trying to keep up with the Joneses and buy shit that we don't need. And we think that all that's going to make us more valuable or happy. And it doesn't. You could go with the smelly, stinky, shitty, happy hustle, whatever, flannel after not showering for a week and bring joy to people's lives because you're just acting in fun and as a jackass. It doesn't require money to be valuable. It doesn't require money to make money. It doesn't require money for you to be validated or worthy. You just simply have to choose your relationships, your resources, and be more resourceful and add value to those relationships, and life gets immensely better. So give up your story that hard labor is the only way. Give up your story that you're stuck in a dead-end career. Give up your story that it's too hard and you have to do too much. I made more money in 2017 spending 3 months in Italy than I ever made before that. And that was completely against my paradigm and what I thought was possible. I had to overcome my own scarcity, my own family heritage that was handed down to me of what wasn't possible or possible, and define new systems of belief. And I'm done on my preaching, and I'm getting off the soapbox and turning it back to you, Carrie.
Hot fire. I mean, damn. That was
Sunday. It's like we might as well go to, that's my church right there, right?
Dude, that's money church right there. Damn. I hope everyone like rewinds 10 minutes and just hears that epic monologue again. And yeah, I mean, it's powerful, dude. You just like summed up like the meaning of life. I feel like for many people right now, we get so caught up in other people's versions of success. I know I did with my tech company in New York City, man. I was like so focused on profit, success, ego, status, all the shit that society deems important. And then when I had a lot of quote unquote success, I was so unfulfilled, unhappy, and I burnt out. That's what even set me on the happy hustle journey, as you know. And it's like, I just is so refreshing to hear someone like you, preaching the truth. And I really hope people take it to heart. Win, then play. Think of what win actually means,
And this shit is hard, dude. I admit it can be hard. Like, what's been going on for me recently.
Yeah.
I sold my company in 2021, but I was still involved with an intellectual property standpoint and doing webinars and some things. But I was playing not to lose because I couldn't go be free and do what I wanted to do because I had to kind of do what was required of me there, which meant I had to walk away from that income for that separation. That was hard because it was super convenient, but it was super unfulfilling for me. And it was nothing that they did wrong. It was I was allowed that to happen. And now I'm able to do what I want to do. And you know what? Not all of it's the most scalable thing. Just like how you do, Montana Mastermind. I do immersions where people come to my cabin. One-on-one, we spend a whole day together. It's not scalable, but it's so damn fulfilling and so enjoyable. And I'm so connected to them. And, I helped scale a business and I lost part of who I was where I felt a little bit more robotic in that.
Yeah.
And those guys are better built for that. They're doing a good job with scaling. And so now I get to say, hey, for me to win, I'm either writing, performing, and whether that's speaking or whether that's doing comedy or whether that's doing my theatrical keynote or building high-level relationships, being on podcasts with people I love to talk to, or just developing these relationships that create a bunch of exciting possibilities. I don't want to be stuck in operations and management. I don't want to be stuck in all the stuff the mindful manager or the planner would do, because when I'm in the creation mode or catalyst mode, I feel most fulfilled. So once we know our money persona, we can start to identify what our win is, how we want to design that win, and live our life. And it might come at a cost of feeling out of control for a minute, or losing stability for a second, or giving up what we know is familiar for a moment. But you have to ask, is that familiarity, stability, and everything getting you the life that you want? And is it aligned with your win? If it's not, what would it take to have that transition over time? To let go a little bit and add a little bit more of what you love. Let go a little bit more of what you hate, a little bit. It could be over time. It doesn't have to be ripping off the Band-Aid and then the next day putting your family at risk.
Yeah, that's the truth too. And it's like, but first notice the sequencing. You have to understand who you are with your money personas. And that's why I think this book can really help people do that. And I know people are probably like, all right, where the heck do I go and get this damn thing already? Where's the best place? And I know you got some epic bonuses to go with it.
Well, if they go to Money Unmasked, and look, if you happen to buy it somewhere else, just send a receipt to us. You can send that at Tricia, TRICIA, at freeflow.group, Tricia at freeflow.group. And if you send us a receipt, we'll send you these bonuses. Number one, you can see my comedy special. And that's not, you can't get that anywhere else, but that's,
and it's worth the watch. Let me just say, because it's not only educational and entertaining, but you will literally like laugh your ass off, but you learn all about money. You do I've never seen a comedy special like it. So it's definitely worth the watch and worth getting the bonus. So keep going.
You get a workbook and an audio around the money personas as a bonus. It's part of our Win and Play playbook. We're taking a section that's specifically money persona. And then you can take the money persona quiz, which you can do that now at garrettgunderson.com/quiz. But you can get the quiz. And then what's the other bonus? There's one other bonus I don't even know.
It was like a $500. No, I think it was
if you share the book with 3 people, you get our $500 digital course on Win Then Play, which is like, it's 36 videos. It's all the things we're talking about here in more depth, bite-sized, piece by piece. And we've sold that course for $500. We've never given it away. It's only because I want this to be the #1 financial book on the planet, because it's the message that's right for the population. Maybe it's also a little bit for my ego. I still definitely have some ego. Like, it's just who I am. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It feels good if if Carrie's like, I love your book. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm so fickle. You love my book? You really love me? It's fine. I'm working through it. But yeah.
Oh, man. Well, it is a hell of a book. And I'm not just blowing smoke, y'all. This is one worth getting. MoneyUnmasked.com. We'll link it all up in the show notes. And then wherever you get it, though, send your receipts so you can get the bonuses. I mean, I got to just stop here for a beat as well, because I'm going through a book launch coming up in the next couple months. And it's like the bonuses that authors put together when they're launching a book are some of their best stuff. Like, right? I mean, you don't hold back. It's legit some of our best stuff. So really take action and make sure that you're getting these bonuses, and especially it's free stuff that could make you a lot of money. Like, if you want more income and impact, like, this is your book. So I don't know, I'm tooting your horn here, man, but I'm all about it. And I think it's been impacting my life big time. And I really just want the happy hustlers to take action and not just be like a passive listener. Like, oh, that was a good episode. It's like, no, like,
who do you think came up with the saying, toot your horn?
That's a good question.
I mean, it sounds so sexual, but I like it.
I know, right? Oh, shit. All right, man. Look, this has been amazing. I want to respect your time.
I got to get him off of this thing before it gets too bad.
Oh, I'm just glad you didn't talk about being vulnerable.
Yeah, you redefine that word for me, Carrie. It's all good, man. Like, you're a memorable individual. Like, I'll never forget. We have a brotherhood with this thing.
Yeah, we sure do. We sure do. Stuff. What happens around the campfire, it's just supposed to stay around the campfire until Garrett brings it up in his comedy specials. So that's yeah. There's a lot there. Anyway, y'all, this has been amazing, Garrett. I do want to put you through. We asked you last time you were on,
Yeah.
but I'm wondering if you have anything new, happy hustle hacks for health specifically, like a tip, a tool, a tactic, something unique in that realm that you are doing, maybe that you could share.
All right, so here's what I'm doing for health. My wife for my birthday got me a PEMF pad.
Nice.
So
Yep.
I've been doing that. Like when I'm tired, I'll just like lay on that thing, and instead of just watching TV, I feel like I'm getting a little bit of for my health that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been doing the sauna every morning for about 20 minutes when I'm home, and the cold plunge. By the way, I didn't do the cold plunge for 2 weeks because I went hunting with my dad into Burning Man, and I do 39 degrees, bro. That hurts so bad getting back in that for
Oh
the
yeah.
first time.
I
I
can
was like,
imagine.
why is this so painful?
Yeah.
Especially like hurt my dick. So just wanted you to know that because I get in it naked. And then I like to do these stretches right after. I like to hang from a bar for 60 seconds, do
Naked.
pass throughs with a bar. No, I actually do because I don't want to freeze. I do the rebounder, and I do similar to what
Yeah.
our buddy Benjamin taught us, which I
Yeah.
do breath holds while I'm on the
Nice.
rebounder,
Yeah.
and then do 6 deep breaths in and out to kind of helps warm me up. And then I do the 5 Tibetan stretches, right, like cat cow, the downward dog and cobra, the tabletop into touching your toes, and the kidney slap. So I like to do those kind of things for the morning. And I decided for the hell of it, I tried carnivore for 2 weeks. I definitely leaned out a little bit, wasn't as hungry, but I'm just too addicted to the social nature of food. And I went hunting after that. So I've just been like being more mindful with my eating,
Mm.
and being a little bit more guilt free that if I eat something that's garbage, I just say a little prayer and say, hey, why don't you take what's useful and discard the rest? And so I'm at my weight I want to be, which is 207 pounds. I'm like right now I'm about 1% more fat than I want to be. I want to be between 12 and 13. I'm at 13.9. But
Mm.
I'm not obsessed about it. I used to
Yeah.
like judge the shit out of myself. And when we were at Montana Mastermind, people were like, if you want to look shredded, you're going to give up so many good aspects of life, and it's not actually that healthy for you. And what I found is the better my six pack, the less my wife gives a shit. So I've just decided mentally my hack is to just be healthy without trying to be overwhelming. Final
Yeah.
thought. Neural injections. Neural injections are awesome. Neural, where it just goes right under the skin, and I do it for my kidneys,
Mm.
and it always helps my kidney numbers. And Dr. Jason West is a ninja at all that. And you and I are going to go ride ski bikes with him this winter.
Yeah. Let's do it,
So
dude.
you'll get to talk to him. I think he's met you before because I tried to bring your name up to him. And so, yeah, like
Cool.
neural injections are pretty awesome. They hurt like a son of a bitch when they're on your back, but like they can reboot digestion. They can just kind of like give support to an organ if you kind of go around, and it's just barely pierces the skin, and it's been super helpful.
Heck yeah. Damn, that was some gold right there. I love the PEMF mat. Um, I'm not familiar with the neural injections, but hot and cold thermogenesis, that's all great stuff there. And just the overarching point, like, you know, health is wealth, as everyone, says that cliche, but to it can also get diminishing returns. Like if you are trying to be bodybuilder 5-6%, they're like on death's door oftentimes on the stage. So don't let that fool you, that persona, right? It really is about having like a holistic healthy routine that serves you. So that's amazing. Let's talk about money. I know we talked about money, but I always ask a money happy hustle hack. Do you have anything specific maybe that's like newer that you come up, maybe something even with like AI, or I don't know, anything like, with technology, or like a specific tactical thing that we could deem a happy hustle hack for money?
Here's the hack. It's a philosophy. The old portfolio of money is stocks and bonds through mutual funds, ETFs, index funds, REITs, brokerage accounts with savings accounts, and that kind of stuff. The new portfolio is an expression of who you are. This book's part of my portfolio. This book's part of my portfolio. It's either one of 3 legs: business, intellectual property, or real estate. Get really good at one of those 3 things to create recurring revenue. and then have it be like my real estate is real estate I can utilize. Building a music studio on one of the pieces, have a cabin where I host the immersions. I'm hosting an event here at the house. I want real estate that I could touch and enjoy and that I know. I know my area. I know what's useful here or not. Intellectual property is my main way I create assets. We all have an IP DNA. When you find your intellectual property DNA, whether it's video, podcast, interviews, writing, performing, like, then you leverage that so that it's enjoyable. So it comes down to three-dimensional investing. You build cash flow, which builds equity, and you only invest in things that bring fulfillment and connection to you, and you discard the rest, which means you're not going to be duped by Wall Street, and instead you're going to be aligned with your investor DNA. So that's my little hack when it comes to that. And I wrote about it extensively on my blog because I still think it's 2006. So yeah.
I love it, man. But that's some gold right there. I mean, truly. And stay in line with your investor DNA. Make sure that you're investing in what you know. And you just broke it down so well. Let's talk about spirituality, wrapping this up. But anything that helps you connect to a higher power, like maybe something you do, it's a little unique, a happy hustle hack there?
Look, man, I write in my 5-minute journal every morning, and I write the same things. God first, God only. Let God and let go. So when I'm remunerating over stuff, tithe to God, which is give 10% of my day to God, and then be still and know God. Like, so I like to do meditation, and I use the practice of the path of light and sound. I go to ilm.org to learn about it, and I like that process for me. And then when I'm in the human condition and my mind's crushing me, I use the LAF workbook, Love, Accept, Forgive, and I just go through everything and say, what have I not forgiven that's holding me captive? What can I accept in that? How can I love that? And I go through that entire process, and it's a very spiritual experience for me.
Yeah, powerful. I mean, let go and let God and tithing and just giving to others, man, it's got to be a part of the equation, when you're building wealth.
And then I just write down the word vulnerable and I chuckle. I wrote down vulnerable. I think of Carrie and I chuckle because we have different definitions of vulnerability, you and I.
Oh, geez.
Like, let me be really vulnerable. I am amazing. I just want to be really vulnerable right now. How great I am. I have I'm embracing Carrie. I'm a model. I ride horses. I can hunt. I was a professional soccer player, a bartender that could do orchestrated dances with my brother. I mean, do you understand how vulnerable it is for Carrie to share these things with me?
Oh shit, man. All right, we're wrapping this thing up. This has been amazing. We're gonna skip the rapid fire round. What would you like to leave people with, Garrett? Just like culminate everything
Buy my
about
shit. Buy my money Unmasked. Say nice things about it online. Give me 5-star reviews, but most of all, just find your soul purpose and live it. Know your win, and then you've already won. Like, whatever it takes to get you there, that's the game.
Oh, I love it, guys. Check out moneyunmaxed.com and get all the bonuses. Garrett, final question, brother, man. This has been amazing. Actually, before I do want to acknowledge you, man. I got to say this. Dude, you are like a bright light in my life and one person that I'm just so grateful to know. And I love you, man. And I'm so proud of you with this book. I'm proud of you, everything you've built up. Not that you need it like a proud father, but like a proud little brother, most so. And it's like, it's just
younger
awesome
brother.
to see.
I like a proud younger brother with only black in my hair and beard. You graze, as someone in the Montana Mastermind said, Osama bin Laden. It still hurt my soul a little bit. I was getting sexy Jesus, sexy Gandalf, which is a little hurtful, but Osama bin Laden. Still hurts, dude.
Well, Ryan, who said that, is Ryan, he's a former Army officer.
We were homies the whole time. It was Salai. He was so nice to me, and then just threw that out at the end.
That was the funniest thing, too, truly. Anyway, man, I just want to acknowledge you, brother. So thank you for sharing your love and light and wisdom with myself and the Happy Hustlers, man. This has been a blessing. So, final question, man. What does happy hustling mean to you?
You've won. You already know you've won. That's the game, right? And you're doing the things that you love to do that other people might consider a hustle, but it's just an expression of who you are.
Boom. Mic drop, y'all. Garrett Gunderson, we are out.
Thanks,
Peace
man.
and love, everyone.